Nothing is holding you back except for your limiting beliefs. And it's you versus you. You don't have competition out here. It's easy to think that you're competing against other people, and the reason you're not getting ahead is simply because other people are holding you back. But when you realize nobody has the power, ability, or authority, it's a game changer. So today I want to talk to you about becoming the biggest influence in your life after Christ, of course, because you know we're Jesus girls over here. Before I even jump into everything, let's get acquainted with each other really quickly, because this conversation may hurt just a little bit. You are watching the Such a Woman podcast, and over here, we like to explore womanhood and femininity through the lens of faith. If it is your desire to become the woman of your dreams and to glorify God at the same time, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications to know when I post videos every single week. I am your host, Dale Pasco, and I am committed to helping you become the woman who is admired, loves herself greatly, and makes a beautiful impact on generations to come. So let's go ahead and get into this topic for the day. All right. Without placing the blame on someone else, I want you to take a moment before we even jump into everything to sit and reflect on some ways you may have been holding yourself back. Okay, so I hope you found something, because we all have something that we can work on. None of us are perfect, and we can all show up better every single day. Let's identify some internal struggles that may be working against you so that you're able to cut those things out of your life and really advance and excel. Some of the common internal struggles are self-doubt, fear of failure, fear of success even. Yes, that is a real thing. Procrastination, that's a big one. Perfectionism. You know, you need everything to just be absolutely together and perfect before you move. Yeah, that's a trick. Comparison, of course, and negative self-talk. We often think that external factors are our biggest problem. The truth is that most of the time we become our biggest critics. I'm not going to say people cannot play a part in these things, or situations can't play a part in how we see ourselves, but this is where you do the work to make sure no matter what's going on or what's happening or what's being said, you do the work to see yourself in the best light at all times. Not saying that you don't see your places that you can work on and to improve, but you don't allow outside factors to determine how you see yourself. If you grew up with someone who was constantly tearing you down, it is now your job to speak life so that you can live in an upward state. If you have been face to face with situations that felt like they've been working against you, it's your job to do the work to make sure you understand that those things do not determine who you are or your value. So we can place the blame all day, but as long as we're placing blame, we're not getting better. We're usually just sitting in a little stoop, looking and waiting for somebody to pull us out, but it's your job to do the work to become better. Every single day, you should be looking at what you did or did not do and put a plan in place to do better the next day and to let go of bad habits from yesterday. Nobody has the ability to force you to do anything. They can do different things to try to get you encouraged and motivated. They can give you all of the powerful words in the world. Some people will try to do the opposite and give you every negative word to hold you back. But if you have the words working inside of you that are telling you that you can and that you will, and you are determined to be better every single day, guess what? You will be better. What you choose to believe is how you choose to live. And if you choose to believe negatively, then you will have a negative life. If you choose to believe positively, then your life will be positive. It doesn't mean that you won't experience situations, setbacks, disappointments, and things of that nature. But what I can tell you is that you will take the reins of your life and make sure it's steering in the way that you desire for it to go. Not where everybody else says it needs to go, not where you have told yourself it will go based off of negative things, but it will go in the direction that you say it will go, because you have come into agreement with what God wants for you and what you really want for you. Living as your best self requires courage, it requires boldness, it requires belief, it requires faith, it requires movement, it requires action, it requires introspection. You cannot move ahead if you are not an introspective woman. I know people who love placing the blame on everybody. They're still not moving and doing things because they're placing the blame on things that happened when they were 2 or 3. And it doesn't mean that these things didn't have an impact on who you were or how you've been acting over these last couple of years. But let me tell you something. You have to stop using these things as an excuse as to why you're not moving forward. You are exactly where you are based on what you've done up until this point. And yes, things may have happened to you as they've happened to all of us. I'm not downplaying that. I'm not even trying to diminish that. But you have to take the initiative to put the work in and to become better. You've been talking about doing that podcast for the last 3, 4, 5 years. You've been talking about taking care of your body for the last 10 years. You've been talking about becoming a photographer and starting your business and becoming a better mother, a better wife. You want to become a pilot. You want to become the first 2 graduates in your bloodline. But yet you're not making the steps to make these things a reality. And you can't blame it on the fact that your mom told you you would never finish school. You're 30, 40, 50 now. You may be even in your 20s. You cannot blame what you are not doing now on what others have done. This is the importance of not just saying affirmations, but believing them. You can say things every single day, but choose to believe what you're speaking and live those things out. Allow your affirmations to really help you stay in alignment with the standard that you want to live in. Speak life over yourself. If you're not speaking life over yourself, everything else that's being projected at you will sound like it's louder because there's nothing contending. The Lord is praying for you every second, every minute, every moment of the day. Because you're choosing not to listen to what he's saying and to not recite those things over yourself and not believe them, you're believing what everybody else is saying, what the devil is saying through people. And honestly, that's on you. So if you want to do better, then you have to put the work in to become better so that you can do that better. Because like I said, nobody else is your competition. You have no competition. When you understand how much value you add to the world, who you are, how unique you are, how much God made you different from every single person around you, even if you have a twin, listen, you have no time to compete with what everybody else is doing, but you say, I want to be better than the woman I was yesterday. And then you give yourself permission to be better. But as long as you're sulking around and feeling bad about yourself and for yourself and what happened, baby, you're not making any moves. I can guarantee you that. Trust me. This is where you start to shift your mind, okay? Your mind has to change. Romans 12:2 is be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The only way you see your life transform is if your mind renews every single day. You cannot afford to go a day that you do not work on your mindset. Even on the weekends when you have days off, you should still have things in your atmosphere that's making you better. Listening to the word of God, listening to music that uplifts you and doesn't tear you down, being intentional with who you're spending time with, the places you're going, how you're dressing, how you're showing up, how you're keeping your space. These things play a major impact on your mindset. But if you are just giving yourself permission to be lax with your life and you're listening to any type of music, you're hanging around any type of person, you have no standard, then you cannot expect to become better than you were yesterday. Every day you want to become 1% better. And if it's 2 or 3%, good. But just work on becoming better by renewing your mind. Read books. Feed your body food that actually works with your body. Learn your blood type and what foods work best with your blood. Little things like that matter. Instead of waiting to feel ready, take action. Regardless of the fear you're feeling, regardless of the words that have been said, regardless of, the situation you may be in, find a way to take action. Write a plan and get to work. Real growth happens when you push through the discomfort. Discomfort is required in order to overcome. Do you know how many people have come before you that are doing major and great things now? They had to find a way to make things move and shake even in the discomfort. They had to look in the mirror and say, dang, okay, you're holding me back. Not out there. And what I'm going to do is show you that we can do this and we're going to get it done. This is something I want you to say. And this is so powerful. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm going to move forward anyway. Do you hear that? Thank you for trying to protect me, self. I'm going to move forward anyway. In order to be better than the woman you were yesterday, you have to be okay with letting the woman from yesterday go. You're not abandoning her. You're simply saying, hey, you've served your purpose. Now I'm going to move ahead so this real woman can make her mark and do the things she needs to do. Loving yourself requires courage. Being the best version of yourself requires courage. And it takes courage to let the person you've been so used to go and saying, hey, listen, you got to die. You got to move on. You got to get out the way so that this new woman that I am can truly live and flourish. So again, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Regardless of whatever else happened, we're going to move forward. Do not underestimate the power of small wins and consistency. Small and consistent actions compound into major breakthroughs. Sometimes we think walls are torn down simply because somebody hit it one time. You know, that bulldozer hit it one time. But we don't see that bulldozer had to swing back and hit it 7, 8, 9, 10 times in the same spot consistently. When you give yourself permission to be consistent, you are building resistance, you're enduring, you're hitting the same spot at the same time, and impact is taking place. And upon that impact has to be breakthrough. There are laws to this. But when you're telling yourself, hey, listen, I don't have the strength to hit anything. I don't want to hit it. I don't feel like hitting it. You can't expect breakthrough to just happen just because you want it to happen. You can't just write it down and be like, this is going to happen tomorrow. No, you have to put some work in. A perfect example is you make a commitment now to show up every day. Even in the smallest of ways, you will become the woman that you want to be. But if you don't show up, she will never arise. You have to find ways to show up as her every single day. Stop comparing yourself to people around you, people afar, people on TV, people on social media, people you'll never meet, people you used to know. Focus on being in your life and in your lane. That's the best thing you can do. Comparison is going to drain your energy. And not only that, it's going to shift focus from personal growth. And this happens because when you're focused on everything else, you really can't measure your movement. You're not able to focus on what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong because you're looking at how everybody else is doing it, and you're shifting in life based on what you see rather than looking at where you're stepping up or where you may be operating subpar. Because as long as you're comparing yourself, you're saying, okay, well, I see that this is working for them, so I'm going to do that. But that may not be God's instructions for your life. They have a specific set of instructions that may not work for you. So you have to figure out, God, what is it that you want me to do for my life so that I'm able to get the results and be the person that I know you desire for me to be and I desire to become. Is master in a dialogue. We spoke about it a little bit earlier, but speak life into yourself. Believe the words that the Lord speaks over you and be intentional with what you allow other people to speak over you or into you. Do not accept people's projections or who they tell you that you are, especially when it does not align with what the Lord has said and who you know you are working to become. In order to go from negative self-talk to positive self-talk, you have to be intentional with paying attention to your thoughts. You wake up and it's like, dang, today's gonna suck. You have to speak out and be like, no, it's not. Sometimes you have to say these things out of your mouth until you build the muscle to say it internally and move on with your life. Like there's things now that will try to come up in my head and in my mind, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. And I'm good. But there are some things that are projected at me or things that I just simply think, or, you know, different situations create words that try to arise. And I have to say, absolutely not. I'm not agreeing with that. I do not agree with that. I will never agree with that. No, that's not who I am. I used to be that person, but I'm not them anymore. I don't think that way. I don't feel that way. I don't believe that way. That's not going to be my outcome. You're lying. Okay. What you tell yourself really does matter. Remember, words are seeds, and those seeds will either grow weeds or flowers in the garden of your mind. And you want your mind to be full of flowers, not weeds that are choking out the life that is trying to grow there. So some things you can do are, one, like I said, speak affirmations to change the way you see yourself. Speak life of yourself. Actually look into the mirror and say beautiful things to yourself. Be intentional with writing down great things about who you are. Put sticky notes around your room, around your home. You can also do activities where you sit in silence for a few minutes and figure out what's going on in your head. So when a positive thought comes up, you're like, okay, that's good. But if a negative one comes up, write it down and write something opposite of that so you can start speaking that thing. Anything that is not aligning with who you are and who you desire to be, for for the betterment of yourself, those words are coming to bring some form of death. So check it at the gate. I remember somebody saying something negative about my mind, like, dang girl, you're always forgetting things. And I had to check them immediately. Like, no, I don't. My mind is good. The enemy at that time was trying to play with my head anyway because of things other people in my family have gone through. And he's like, oh, your mind's going to be the same way. No, it's not. My mind is perfectly fine. I read, I work on my mind, I feed my mind amazing things. I speak life over my mind every single day. So don't let people just play with you like that and say whatever they feel like they want to say, because who are they? And lastly, I want you to choose yourself today. Today, choose to become better. Take another step. Show up for yourself. Take the walk. Sign up for the gym membership and actually commit to going. Cut off the things that are making you worse. Loose ties with the things that are holding you back. Speak something nice to yourself. Look at the mirror and smile at the woman you see. Write good things about yourself. Encourage yourself. Hype yourself up. Connect to better people. Today, you take the course. Do something to become better than the woman you were yesterday. And remember, this is literally you versus you, and you have no competition. You have no competition. So I really do hope that this video was encouraging to you and put a fire under your butt to get moving and get going. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about becoming. And every time you choose yourself, you win a little bit more every single day. Next week, I'm going to speak to you about overcoming rejection and really thriving after disappointment. Because listen, situations in life have a way of throwing curveballs at you. And if you don't know how to deal with it, you will literally lay down and die. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to continue moving and figure out how to use these things for your betterment and not your own demise. And feel free to look in my links to find some resources that I put together for you to invest in yourself, write out your plan for 2025, and to become a better version of who you are. As always, I am Dale Pasco. I love you, and we'll talk to you soon. And remember, you are her in real life.